Welcome to Term 2. In terms of the Term 2 screening, well, that was actually conducted at the end of Term 1 to set levels for Term 2. And for Term 2 in Year 1, we'd anticipate that students are moving into Stage 1 and following that teaching sequence, but you might find your Tier 1 students are a term behind, and so that you can follow that teaching sequence. Or in some schools, you might find they're already well into Stage 2 and you're further ahead, but your Tier 1s in Year 1 should be following a teaching sequence outline. Likewise, in Year 2, your Tier 1 student should be embarking on Stage 3. Or if they're a tier behind, they're still filling in some of the gaps in Stage 2. So remember, those teaching sequence outlines are not for the entire class. They are for your Tier 1 students, where they should be a little bit up or a little bit delayed. But one group, the planning should be nice and easy to execute because it is there on a week-by-week basis. Your Tier 2's a little bit behind, Tier 3 significantly behind. You've got these planning tables inside your teaching sequence manual to use to put a program together. A reminder on how students progress through Stage 1. Please don't do the long process. Target 1 into Target 2 into Target 3, Target 4. No. Students should be moving faster than that, and that is not recommended at all. What you'll find when you do a placement test, most students score better in Target 3 than Target 2. Target 3 does not need a lot of time. And in fact, hopefully what you're finding, scores of 57, 71%, 42 students are potentially, if they're breaking down at a Target 2 level, only have 2 or 3 concepts to master before they bump out. So Target 2 and another target should be the focus of the term ahead. So using this percentage converter, if they're in the red zone, it is not a full term program. Also taking into account, some of your students will still be making mistakes in Target 3, but as they move into Target 4, what do you notice? Sk. Some Target 3 words are incorporated into Target 4. There will be double consonants at the beginning of words, in the middle or end of words. So students, if they still have a few Target 3 errors, that will be tidied up as you move into Target 4. The science of reading says we need to move on. Sometimes in dealing with schools, they're moving too slowly through Stage 1. Now, so my favourite grouping, if you've got students in Stage 1, in Year 1, is to do a Target 2 and a Target 4, 4 and 4 words, half list, 2 different digraphs, a Target 2 digraph and a Target 4 digraph, because there are a range of students that don't need a full term there. We're just finding the gaps and moving them on. So it could be a Target 2, Target 4, or it might be a Target 2 and a Target 3. So be very careful with your planning. High frequency words. There are flash words that need to be read and read and read and decoded until they are read in a flash. They need to be spelled and spelled and spelled and spelled until they're spelled in a flash. And the nice thing is you don't have to do much there. You've just got to move them through Stage 1, Stage 2 materials, because every time you see a circle with a HF, that's a flash word, and they are automatically incorporated into the Stage 1 and Stage 2 materials. It is the heart words that present more of the challenge. Many of these heart words, not all, but many of them you can use reading voice and a spelling voice. We read the word as after, and I'm exaggerating that, speaking it with an Aussie accent, but you're going to spell it as after. We read it as ask, but you're going to spell it as ask. We read it as father and last, but you're going to spell it as father and last. And that's water, but it's water. And want is how we speak it, but want is how we're going to spell it. And we're going to speech sound map it with that spelling voice. And this is put, but here's the heart part, the part that's going to trick you. It's not the beginning and the end. It's the medial sound. So we're going to make it red with a nice love heart and probably put a double O inside of that. So you're going to hear p or t, but you're going to spell it put. PLD now has a high frequency word book where we have a 5-day routine to teach every single one of those high frequency words. Step 1, say it in a sentence. Water, a fish lives in water. Step 2, what are the phonemes in the word water? W, or, t, a. W, or, t, a. And then we're going to map the easy parts. The w is nice and easy. The t is nice and easy. By stage 2, because this is a stage 2 word, ER being a schwa and an R is regular and it has been taught, but it is that second letter that I'm going to put a love heart in front of and I'm going to write OR in because that's the tricky part. Ooh, or, to, ooh, or, to, or we're going to use it ooh, at, to, water, with our spelling voice is going to be water. So that is also in your phonics sight word sequence. And once you learn that scripting of how you tackle any of those heart words, you've got the steps to run through with examples in a stage 1, a stage 2, and a stage 3. Let's finish by talking about phonic dictation. It is the gold part of the process and the end of week process because just because you can read and spell and speech sound map those spelling words does not mean that they transfer into writing. So let's highlight how to present PLD's phonic dictation with fidelity. So the new phonic dictation programs for stages 1, 2, and 3 have 3 levels with 3 different word counts. I particularly like the long passages because there's a lot of reading practice rather than the shorter passages. And you don't need to complete the whole passage because you probably won't in 10 minutes of dictation, but you also have the option of using the shorter passages if that is appealing to you. So step 1, on a Thursday and a Friday, there's going to be 2 goes of dictation. If you're unhappy with the results from your class and the students are not transferring by now the phonic concepts into writing, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, what's the best way to get that transference into writing? You've got to work dictation harder. Over time, you won't need to. But there is a time to increase to 3 days if required. So the basic model for PLD for year 1 and 2 is repeated reading on a Thursday, 2 readings, and then phonic dictation on a Friday, 2 readings, and then into phonic dictation. So the first reading of that passage has decoding, not of all words, only the key phonic concept. A man was in a rush. He got on a ship. He went to get fish. But the ship had a crash. The ship did not go. The man did not fish. The second reading is to read it with fluency as whole word reading, and I don't need to demonstrate that to you. Pencils down and listening. Now we're going to do the phonic dictation. So pencils down. A man was in a rush. A man was in a rush. A man was in a rush. You're going to repeat that sentence or part of a sentence. They're going to hold it in their working memory. Hearing that sentence structure is nice, but we're going to work their language skills. Speak it before you write it. What are you going to write? A man was in a rush, go. And my style is, at the end of each sentence, we check the capital letter, full stop, and we edit, and then we keep moving. Now, some of you are going to say, no, that is not going to work with my tier 2 and tier 3 year 1s. I need to pare it back. Okay, pencils down and listening. we're going to write a man was, but we're going to use our spelling voice. A man was, a man was, a man was. What are we going to write? A man was, go. Waiting. Pencils down. In a rush, full stop. In a rush, full stop. In a rush, full stop. What are you going to write? In a rush, full stop, go. And writing as much as you can in that 10 minutes. If they're in stage 2, again, we're going to read this with decoding that phonic concept OA, but any other word, we're reading it as a full word. Second reading with fluency, 10 minutes dictation. And you're going to repeat that again on the Friday. Remember, there's support through the PLD website. This concludes PLD Essentials for Term 2. Wishing you a great term of teaching and learning. If you found this information useful, don't forget to click the subscribe button and check out our related videos shown here. If you have any questions or feedback, please add them to the comments below and we'll be sure to respond. Otherwise, you can reach us via live chat on our website, pld-literacy.org. Thanks again for viewing.